Hey, here we are, Friday, March 20th, 2020, near the end of the first week of the coronavirus shutdown. And I wanted to talk today about a topic that kind of covers hoarding and conflicting information. We seem to get at times conflicting information. Um, and I don't know, a lot of what I talk about, I may use examples of what I'm doing, things that I've done, but I'm not telling anyone what to do. There's a million people out there that will tell you what to do. What I hope to do is to talk about how to think about things, how to approach it, so you can make your own decisions about what to do. And on this topic of hoarding and conflicting information, I see it all under one umbrella. Call it tending your fields, looking at your scope of responsibility and your scope of influence. And people with different scopes of responsibility and different scopes of influence are going to recommend different things than what might be best for you and your family. They look more at the collective, a governor, a president. When they tell people what to do, they're looking at statistically the masses and trying to manage a problem. Now, on an individual basis, you and your family, there's no one looking out for you. There's no one making those decisions. And why does it? What is the difference? I'm not saying that they're at odds, that you ignore one in favor of the other. I'm saying you reconcile the two, but don't abdicate your responsibility for yourself and your family. On the topic of hoarding, toilet paper is a big issue. We've made a lot of jokes about it, rightly so. But for the better part of a week now, there hasn't been any toilet paper to be had anywhere. And I wonder about people who were on their last roll, planning to go shopping when all this started. What about people that don't have it? So it's become a moral issue. We moralize everything. Don't take, just take your one package. The stores are rationing anyway, so that's kind of forced anyway. But what's the point? Well, if you're the governor or the mayor or the president, and you look at this problem, you want everyone to rely on the system. You want to say, don't if you take too much, that's not enough for someone else. And if everybody doesn't take too much, then there'll be enough for everyone. But the reality of it is there are going to be people that are going to take too much. So when something like this happens, there will be shortages. We can talk to each other and talk about how that shouldn't be, and we can try to, share things on social media to encourage people not to do that, but it will happen. So when you're considering the scope of your responsibility, yourself, your home, your family, you have to take that into account. You can't dismiss it. You can't make it a moral issue and say, well, I'm not going to be that guy unless you want to be the one that has to do without. So I'm not advocating shopping carts full like some people have shown pictures of, but taking an honest look at I have 10 people. We have 10 people living in my house. So the amount of toilet paper we're going to use in 1 week is 5 times that of a normal couple. So don't let social pressure make your decisions for you. Don't let leaders make your decisions for you. You need to be self-reliant, self-sufficient. So to me, the best approach is take an honest look at what your needs are. Take your best guess at how long you think you'll have to go, how long your supply has to last, and buy that much. Set a goal, buy that much. Don't steal from your neighbors. Don't hoard so much that other people have to do without. But if you take care of yourself and you take care of your family, and then there is a much greater shortage, then you're in a better position to help other people out as well. So that's part of that difference of tending your field. What is your field, and what is the scope of your responsibility is part of the reason you hear conflicting information. And I'll try to use an example from movies from Hollywood. Hopefully it'll work. But if you recall movies where there is a worldwide crisis, like an Independence Day or um, well, like an Independence Day, world coming to an end sort of a thing. Oftentimes they feature the leaders, the president and his senior level advisors and leaders, people that are leading through this crisis. And throughout the movie, you will see them make personal sacrifices, especially in the underlings below the president. You will see them denying their own families in order to serve the nation, which is honorable and accurate, and that's what they should do. But most movies, you'll see there'll be a turning point for one of the main characters where their wife or their child or one individual is in trouble. Their life is threatened. And suddenly, the whole priority shifts for that one person. Even if they're the president of the United States, they don't completely disregard what's good for the country. In the case of a president, what would be good for the country would be for him to protect himself, to not put himself in risk. But if someone close to him is in danger and he feels he's the best person to make a difference, to help them, he's going to put himself at risk. So that's why you see conflicting information. If the federal government looks at and says 50% of the population is without food, and a week later they say, wow, we reduced that number by 30%. That's good news. That's positive news. Everybody's happy. But not if you're in the percent that doesn't have the food. It doesn't matter what the statistics are for each individual family. What matters is, and what your responsibility is for yourself and your family. So, again, you don't hurt other people. You don't take from other people. You don't, but it's sort of like the oxygen mask on an airplane. They always tell you put your oxygen mask on first, and then you're equipped to help your children, to help people around you. And this is the same situation. If you become needy, if you become completely dependent and unable to do anything, then you're no longer an asset to your family, nor are you an asset to your neighbors, to your community. So think about it that way. A governor, a president, anyone with a large audience, with a large sphere of influence and a large responsibility, they will tell us what's best for us to do, and we should listen to them and we should do that. But on a day-to-day tactical basis, I mean, that's a good strategy to follow, but on a tactical basis, you have to follow what is your responsibility. You have to take care of your family, because if you don't, if you didn't learn anything from this, learn this. If you don't take care of yourself, if you don't take care of your family, nobody will. Nobody will. They'll take care of the collective, and that will help most people as a whole. But nobody is taking care of yourself, your wife, your child, your grandchildren. That's got to be you. We have to accept that responsibility, and that's how we have to think about it. And we can't necessarily judge how much toilet paper our neighbor needs, because a neighbor, one of my neighbors, there's one woman living in the house. I have 10 living here. So I have to take care of that 10 first. And then I'm equipped to help other people. So that's how I think about it. Again, not telling you how much toilet paper to buy. I'm telling you how to think about it. Think about that with food and all the other resources. So be well, stay safe, don't fear. Everything's going to be fine.